Then I want to introduce now Nazim Agabekov, who is a world-leading consultant who worked with big names in the industry like Jay Abraham or Andreas Bauerleck. He also helped him in his beginning days. He also helped me from going from 60 to over 100K per month. He's one of the most genius marketers that I know. He generated more than 35 million in revenue for his clients. Yeah, I'm very happy to have you here. So let's make an applause for him.
Thank you, thank you. Halfway through Jonas's speech, I was actually starting to doubt myself, if I should even get on stage, because John and Jonas provided amazing presentations. But I feel like the good news is that my presentation will have fewer foreplay, and straight jump into processes and kind of like some of the things we did. My presentation is called Case Study, how we scaled a new offer from 0 to $3 million in really 11 months. So that's that. A little bit about me. That's a younger picture of me with more hair and a more positive outlook on life. This was like 6 years ago. But one thing about me is that I'm not a business owner. I don't have a business. My business is my client's business. I'm an operator. I don't know why I don't run a business. Maybe I don't have the emotional capacity to deal with all the moving parts. I think Jonas was right. You need a lot of commitment, and I feel like my only commitment is to money and increasing revenue. So that being said, I did work personally, not on a coaching basis, personally with over 100 companies, primarily in the service business. I would say exclusively, not e-com, none of that. So actually, I have a question for you. Whether it's SaaS or coaching or consulting or agency business, how many of you would you say fit into this bracket? Can you raise your hands or forks?
What?
Service-based business. Cool. So I would say 70%, 80%. I hope you get the most value. For the rest, I think there'll still be some good value for you in the presentation. So basically, in this presentation, I'll give you, first of all, a bird's eye view on a $3 million per year operation. We scaled last year, and this year we're on track to do 5 or 6. And like I said, I'm not going to be overly theoretical in my speech. I like what Jonas said about focusing on you, on the client. You guys are the clients. Thank you for coming. So I just really want to make it about you, some tactics, some things specifically. We've already kind of like paid, implemented what failed, and I'll report you on that, and also what was good. So I'll also try to keep a bit more time for the Q&A if any of you want to ask questions. Of course, biggest lessons and takeaways and like some of the things, golden nuggets and tips you can hopefully swipe away and also implement in your business. So a little bit about my client. My client is Passion.io. They primarily operate in the English-speaking market, I would say 80%. But one of the co-owners, Matthias Bellman, is German. The other is British. His name is Daniel Harvey. So I'll play a little video to kind of like, not yet, to kind of like explain you. So Daniel actually explains to you what is it that Passion does. But the one thing you need to know, or like an easy way to explain what they do, is that they're basically like a no-code app builders, kind of like ClickFunnels, but for mobile apps. Yeah, and their industry would be then in the SaaS for online businesses. When I came on board, they had 2 products. Both were do-it-yourself. Yeah, so basically, bless you, basically subscription fees, $97 to $97 a month, where people can sign up to use their app kind of like as a licensed thing, where they can build the app on their own. When I first came across their website, I personally work with coaches consultants, but they work with coaches and consultants as well. And I was like, that's interesting. I don't know what is it exactly that I can help them with, because we kind of like target the same industry, but I'll reach out anyway and kind of like see if there's some common ground. And we spoke, and I had this idea that, hey guys, you guys are running kind of like SaaS businesses low, I don't know if you know, but like low profit margin. Yeah, lots of developers, $97 a month fees. And I was like, Well, why don't you actually add, and it's actually funny because I want to give the credit to Daniel and Matthias as well. They also had this idea, and that's why we were so in alignment on the call. We decided to basically add a done-for-you piece, like an agency-style service, where if you didn't want to do it yourself, we would do it for you. Yeah, and we call this offer the Ultimate Plus. So it's Pro, Ultimate. It's a subscription-based kind of like service, and the Ultimate Plus is where we'll build it for you. It's also kind of subscription because then we can maintain it for you as well. But primarily, the way you can look at it, it's like an agency kind of service. So it's kind of like a SaaS and a SaaS offering with a higher profit margin. Yeah, think like 70-80%. So very important, especially in SaaS business, to kind of like provide this nice, good injection of cash flow to do well in profit margins and stuff like that. So let me play a quick video, if you can, please. What's your name? I forgot.
What? Mine?
Yeah, Florida.
The whole weekend is Zakopane.
Let's go, yeah.
If you want to make money and change lives by selling your knowledge online, do not, and I cannot stress this enough, do not launch an online course. Only 6% are ever completed. They are old, clunky, one-dimensional, and they're designed for devices we don't even use today. Create instead your own branded app and launch the ultimate learning experience that sells. Passion.io is a drag-and-drop platform where you create interactive content to sell using your own branded app. No matter what you do, you can move your existing clients online, you can reach customers you never could before, or you can even swap your online course for something that actually works. With your own app, you can delight clients with on-demand, with downloadable and even live content. You can trigger instant action using push notifications, generate more revenue with single-touch payments, and you can stream across all devices. Forget any tech hassle. You deserve a platform that makes it easy. Just create your account, choose a template, and launch your app. Click the button on this page to get started.
Yeah, that's enough.
now.
Thank you. So, how many actual people have an app? I think some of you do in the audience. Can you raise your hands? 1, 2. Okay, cool. Basically, the idea behind an app and getting an app, if you have clients, I mean, I wouldn't be breaking the news if I said that 90-95% of people spend their online time mostly on the phone. So the idea behind building an app, by the way, this app not only works on mobile, but also on computer, on a iPad, on a TV, yeah? So basically, the idea is to improve your content consumption so that your client retention can go up, your client success can go up. We literally have clients from, I would say at this point, 200-300 industries. From maybe same cave developers to fitness coaches to we have sex coaches, love coaches, and all sorts of things. So it's a very fun industry. I feel like I'm in the right place. And I don't like fancy graphs. I put this together in 90 seconds. It's probably like the crappier looking presentation that I have, but it gets the point across. Today I'm going to talk about the first 4 steps that basically involve getting a visitor to turning them into a lead, into a setting call, and then a closing call. I will not cover onboarding and service and retention renewal. Yeah, because that's not part of the making the initial revenue. So first one, step number 1 is lead generation. So again, like I said, I want to make this a bit more practical, and I feel like John and Jonas went already quite wide and nice for the concepts and kind of like opportunities. I want my presentation to go deeper. So what I want to do is kind of like go over all the 5 things we're doing right now and kind of like tell you some of the things you can expect, pros and cons for each source. And while I love ads, actually my background is in ads. As you scale, anyone who's had their ad account shut down will tell you do not have only one traffic source. So because I come from ads background, I kind of like foresaw it, and we've been continuously adding new sources of leads. So the first one, we started with inbound, and they're actually, the way I put them is based on like a chronological sequence, yeah? Like we first had 1, then 2, then 3, 4, 5. So the first one we started with was, of course, inbound requests. Yeah, we launched in February, and we made, I think, a quick 150 to 100K, because they already had like a massive user base. They sent an email, and like 80, 90 people already applied. And out of those, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 were sold into the Ultimate Plus. But then, of course, we started thinking, okay, this was nice, like a big launch, but how can we automate this process and make the leads come more consistently? And we said, let's do this. I came on board. We took one of the only sales rep they had in the company, which is crazy. They were making $15, $20 million a year, and they had only one salesperson. Well, that's SaaS companies, right? Everything is done via checkouts and online purchases. So I came with my background in let's say, direct response marketing and phone sales. And I said, okay, cool, let's take this one salesperson you have and open up his calendar and basically start, and then also what we did was that we made that option, Done For You piece, available on the pricing page. As you can imagine, these guys spend anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million a month on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram ads. But there's a very important fact. They don't run it straight to the Done For You piece. They run it to the general website and to their webinar, and then some of the people who go onto the pricing page and see the Done For You piece, they can come in and book on our calendars. So we started with that. We tried to be super honest with you. We tried to sending Facebook traffic to the Done For You piece as well. Didn't work out as well. Yeah, maybe I'll revisit it again. But people, it seemed that people who kind of like went through the do-it-yourself route and found their way through to the Done For You piece were more likely and kind of like more hotter prospects on the phone. So we kind of like started with that. We still have a very simple sales process. Basically, setter to sales to closer, and then close. So with just the setter, we started getting about 7 to 8 requests per day. Now, the one thing you need to know about our service is it's not a coaching offer where you can say, do you want to generate leads? Cool, let me plug my system into yours. Yeah, and where it works a lot of times, as long as they have the money. In our case, we still have a product. So we have to like vet really hard for if we can actually implement and execute on the idea for the creator. So our qualification rate is around 30 to 40, maybe sometimes 50% of all the people who book and come on to calls. And if you do the math, if we started booking 7, 8 people and getting 3, 4 calls, and getting to 3 million a year to 3 calls a day, yeah. So we said this is a good start. We started making some money, let's say enrolling 7, 8 people, making 100K per month. But how to go further? Because we did manage to go to 300K per month run rate. Then I said, okay, cool. You guys have 8,000 people who are actively using the do-it-yourself piece, but may not have heard necessarily about the Done For You, except maybe that one time when you launched the broadcast. Let's start actually sending out, frequent and let's say planned out weekly emails, yeah, about the Done For You piece. Started well. The first email we sent out, we booked like 25 calls, and it went on like that for like 2-3 months until it started dying down. Yeah. So while email marketing was good, after 4 or 5 months, there was very strong email list burnout. Yeah. So do not over-rely on email marketing unless you're adding like crap load of people every day. And I mean 100 to 200 to 300 new people every day. Because our email list is paying users, we don't add 300 a day. Maybe on Black Friday, I think we added like 2,000 in 1 week, something like that. But it happens only once a year. Normally it's much smaller amount. So, despite the fact that we started with a big base, we kind of like reached a certain frequency cap level where they basically a desensitization to the offers started happening. So we had to start looking for better and new avenues. And the third one was in-app banners. Once I was on the platform, thinking how we can get more leads, I was like, man, this is good real estate. Like prime real estate on the creator's dashboard. This is what their dashboard looks like on computer. And there were all sorts of challenges. We had EUC, Expert Unleashed Challenge, because a big thing that Passion does, which I love, is it's not just build you an app, but because we want to retain clients, we're obsessed with coaching our clients on how to monetize their apps as well. So it's not just like an expensive hobby. So they are with us longer. So we have all sorts of challenges, but I was like, Ultimate Plus is a big thing. Let's try to add it on the platform as well, like on the dashboard. And we ended up adding here. And this thing alone, I mean, I have to say, it didn't add extra 50 calls per week. It added maybe extra 10 closing calls per week, but they were with very, very, very good leads. Because the only kinds of people who see this is active buyers. Yeah, and maybe even so buyers who've already tried the done do-it-yourself piece, got sick of it, and they're really ready to try the done for you piece. So we implemented in our banners, and we went up by just 10 sales calls, but those 10 sales calls every week added at least a few sales into our monthly kind of sales tally. Yeah. Number 4, this is something we started about 2-3 months ago. I always knew outbound is great. To ruffle Jonas's feathers here a little bit, I do believe in outbound. Outbound can be very, very powerful and nice. And PDFs and freebies also work if you implement them properly. Basically, what we started doing, I thought, okay, cool. This is what people do organically. They find us ourselves. What if we actually take our active user base and we start calling them personally, asking them, not pestering them on about the done for you piece, because we still have to be very careful, so that the done for you piece doesn't go against the core offer. Core offer is you can build an app yourself. It's super easy, 2 minutes, bam, bam, bam. But let's be realistic. Some people just could not be fucked. Yeah, they have too little time, or they're very realistic about their tech skills. So why don't we just start calling people and having honest conversations about where they're at in terms of their app development? And we started doing that. We hired our first outbound setter who started basically calling people. And to actually fill you in on a script, it's quite easy. It's quite simple. Props to Cole Gordon. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a sales guru on the West in America. And I learned, I would say, quite a bit from him. And basically, the script is quite simple. We pick up the phone, we call them, and we say, hey, how are you doing, Daniel? Yeah. Just FYI, we're just calling to check in with you. How's your app journey? And because the script is scripted as a natural conversation where we're genuinely curious about where that person is, if they're doing well, if they're launching their app, we just wish them luck and send them a free bonus video. But if we feel that they're stuck, we kind of like go deeper and try to understand what's the problem. And if the problem is that they're spinning their wheels, we offer them to get on a call with one of our app advisors, aka closing call. Yeah. So we started doing this. And we've already closed, I would say, close to 60, 70K. Yeah, it took some tweaking, but there's massive upside potential in this, and we're ramping up the operations now. Last but not the least, text-based sales via social media channels. Because, so it's basically social media inbound. We noticed. And guys, I'm giving you all of these methods. Some may fit into your business, some may not. do take some notes. If you want to ask me about any of them later in the Q&A, I'll be more than welcome and pleased to answer them. The last one is basically people writing us on social media. We noticed that they're on Instagram specifically. We noticed they're asking us technical questions, and then we send them to like resources, but we don't carry on the conversation. You know, maybe this person can be sold. Maybe this person, you know, like just sending them to a link is nice customer service, but is it really the service at the highest value? Do we really help this client? Yeah, because the only way you can help people is by going deeper, asking them more questions, and then kind of like coming up with a real solution. And if that means that person will buy something from you, I still believe it's good service. Because if you truly made a judgment that this person can benefit from the service by asking them questions, it's amazing that they buy from you, yeah? So we basically started having these conversations via Instagram, not only sending them resources, but we also started asking them follow-up questions. And then we started getting them on calls as well, you know, for the core offer, do it yourself, or the done for you piece. You guys need to see our Instagram. Sometimes we literally get like people with 3 million Instagram followers. I would say at least once or twice a day, blue check marks, and quite interesting leads, yeah? So that's the 5 lead sources that we're using now. As you can imagine, we're very nicely filling up the 300K per month capacity, and we're looking to go to at least 5 to maybe even 600K per month in the next 2-3 months. Yeah, and but I'll give you one caveat. It's really important to approach each lead source you're going to use to generate all these leads differently. You can't use the same script. So at least this is in our case, because we have 2 different offers, do it yourself and done for you, and people come onto our calls with different buyer awareness levels. Yeah, some have heard inbound leads from the first, they've heard about the done for you. We just jump right at it. We say, okay, cool, what has made you decide that you don't want the do-it-yourself product, you want to do done for you? With someone who goes from outbound calling, we have a more of an advisory approach, which I'll talk about later in the script, but it basically still kind of like carries on the conversation with like the curiosity piece, like what is it, what is it that you want to do, how much time you have, stuff like that, and if they're a good set, we set them up. In a banner now, so that's basically leads, yeah? Now, generating leads is one piece. You also have to qualify them, yeah? So I'm going to talk about how we process and qualify them. To some of you, it's not new knowledge. To some of you, it can be beneficial. Maybe you take something new. We qualify leads in 2 stages: a survey form and a call with a setter. I personally, you know, call me too conservative. I feel like people sometimes overdo with processing and lead qualifying, and they just put too many hoops and you know, kind of like qualifying points before getting on calls. For example, if you don't have a SaaS offer, man, honestly, I have clients, because this is not the only client I have clients where we send them straight to the sales call and we're still closing 500-600K. You know, maybe not at 80%, we're closing them at 30%, but we're losing fewer leads on all this process, you know, leads qualifying stuff. But because it's a SaaS business, and we not only want to look for a financial fit, but also for the idea fit, we first send them to a survey form and then to a call with a setter. Yeah, so it's a SaaS offer. We want to be 100% sure that we can implement and deliver on the service. But we also want to be, you know, we want to be sure that this is an offer. You know, it's a person who can really pay and afford the service. We qualify them on 2 points. Number 1, how much they make. If they make less than 1K a month, we disqualify them. We don't do the 1 to 2K per month for 3 years contract stuff, because most of the work goes on the front end. we go jump right into the painful investment. Maybe it's paid off within 2 to 3 months max. Yeah. So that's why we just ask, hey, look, the Ultimate Plus is an investment in low 5 figures. Guys, if there's one thing I learned from sales, don't give the price before the closing call, before the last part of the closing call. Cole Gordon says one good thing. He says the job or the goal of the prospect on a sales call or when getting on a sales call is to know the price. The job of a closer is to not reveal the price unless he's clearly delivered the value of the product and has decided that the product is a good fit for the person. So can you hold the questions, Valeria? Basically, we asked this very simple question. It's in the low 5 figures. Yeah, it's a play of words. Yes, people know that the low 5 figures is 10 to 20, maybe 30K. But unless you explicitly say it, they still get on call. We tried 10 to 15K per 10 to 15K investment. In the survey, it's freaking tanked. We were kind of like thinking, well, at least if we put 10, 15K, we'll be getting more people who are more ready, right? If they apply and say yes to 10, 15K, they'll for sure buy. No, it was still the same freaking objections, yeah? So low 5 figure works. These two, we send them to a setting call. This one we disqualify. Very straight and simple. So that's lead qualifying. No in-app banner example. Nice job. This is not in-app banner example, but you get the point. So that's lead qualifying. Please write down any questions you have. More than happy to answer them. Step number 3 is, where is step number 3? Yeah, setting. So setting is quite simple. We set people based on 3 criteria. Yeah. By the way, I'm seeing some people taking pictures. That I love it. Guys, I think we can also send the copies of presentation to people by email. Yeah. We set people for 3 main criteria. Number 1, is this an app idea we can execute on? That's the most important thing. Man, I don't care. We've had literally people with 5 million subscribers come to us and say, this, that, I want, this big app and we'll pay you 100K. Don't care. Like if it doesn't fit in the product, we're not an agency. We're a software company. If it doesn't fit within the product's abilities, you have to be able to say no. Yeah, so that's number 1. Number 2, is this a legit business? Now this one actually, decides if we're going to go into more strict financial qualifying or not. Because if we have someone who's retired and stuff like that, nothing wrong with that, but it kind of like, our setters, it puts them on guard and we'll go into financial qualifying. But if it's someone who makes money, has a business, we kind of like lay off of it a little bit. But when we feel our spidey senses going up, we always go into leading with financial kind of like ability scale. We say, cool, no problem. And there's actually one cool trick that I want to share with you. We don't vet for the financial scale unless we set them for a call. We set them for a call and then we'll vet for the financial scale. And the way we do it is by coming from an inferior frame. Yeah, there's a saying, I think Tony Robbins said it, is the inferior is the new superior, something like that. Where basically, and I know it's different schools of thought. Maybe you go listen to other people, maybe Bauligs, they say that you have to come from more authority, more frame, etc. Different strokes for different folks. What we'd say is this: hey, Daniel, just one more thing. Closers or app advisors, have me fill out this one little extra document with a couple of more questions that will help them prepare better. I know answers to most of them, but would you mind sticking around for 2 more minutes? That would really help me out. Yeah? Nobody has ever said no. They all say yes. We ask them a few basic questions, kind of like reaffirming their basic app ideas, and then we'll go into, okay, on a financial scale where 1 to 10, when 1 is things are kind of tight right now, and 10 being you can invest freely in whatever you want, where are you? No one has ever said 10, not even 9. Yeah, the best we've ever gotten was a couple of times 8. Most good leads say 6, 7. Anything 6 or below, we question it. We say, well, what does 5 or 4 mean to you? That's the only thing we ask. And if it's if they're not there, we say, honesty is best policy. Say, look, this is an investment. It does seem like you might not be there yet. Let me send you a free bonus video. Always part with people on good terms. Yeah, not that you're not good enough. Fuck out of my call. Yeah, don't waste my time. Let me send you a free video. Thanks for spending the time. Give you some homework. Follow up with me in 2 or 3 months or whenever you have the finances. Yeah, sorry, I feel like I skipped this. Again, the whole script goes as this. Hey, my name is Nazim. This is how this call is going to go down. We have a limited amount of time here, 20 minutes in this call. On this call, my goal is to see if we can really build this app for you or not. If we can, I'll set you for another call, which is going to be longer. We're going to be demo showing you, how we can build this app. There'll be pricing. I don't have the pricing. Setters have a strict rule to never reveal the price. Because again, remember, the only reason prospects get on a call, they don't want to be sold to. They just want to hear the price and bugger off. That's like your biggest ace up your sleeve. So you never reveal it until you've delivered all the value. No. So from framing, you go into some information gathering. What kind of app? Why? What's your dream app vision? What's the ultimate goal? I feel like I've been holding my microphone incorrectly all this time. And then transition, setting them for an actual sales call. All sales calls are recorded with the calling software. We tried Alloware, not so good. Kixi. If you want like a good calling software, use Kixi, especially if you're calling in the US. They basically have this function, it's called local presence. Meaning, if you're calling someone in Detroit, they actually, like a phone number that comes up on the person's phone is a Detroit local number. If they're in San Francisco, it's a San Francisco number. If they're in Germany, in Munich, Munich number. In Stuttgart, Stuttgart number. Yeah, it's really, well, I think Germany doesn't have this kind of classification, but America, yeah, it does. So that's how it works. And I personally, because I lead the sales team, I give setters and closers weekly one-on-one attention, feedback. Closing. Most people are obsessed with scripts. Scripts are not super important. What's important is running a highly functioning, highly motivated sales team. Good habits. This is something, again, I learned from Cole Gordon. Script is a tool. It's really not about the tool. It's about the person who uses the tool. So right now we're doing not even 250. We're doing 300K plus revenue, 250K plus cash collected with 2 closers and with 2 setters. Yeah, each closer makes about 150K revenue. I think they can comfortably make 250, 300K revenue with more lead flow. In fact, I have a German client. I don't know if you know him. Thorsten Kreutz is always, he's my client. And one of his closers did like 450K revenue last month. Yeah. So, and I think the whole company did like close to 800K last month alone. So, so I like small teams, highly functioning, operational. Think about it as Navy SEALs. I see Alex Hormozi also has a very nice video where it says I fired half my sales team and my results went up. Whenever in doubt, fire people, fire perennial underperformance for the following reasons. Number one, you don't dilute team with low energy. Yeah, because there was one guy, I still have great relation with him, and I gave him a stark reviews for his next employer, but the dude was a door-to-door salesman. He was amazing at what he did, but he tried the online thing, it didn't work out. His energy tanked like a motherfucker. Yeah, he just couldn't handle it. Some people love doing online stuff, some people need to be in front of the client. So this guy was kind of like diluting, again, love him. He made us money, but it wasn't top. And before he left, we're at about 20% close rate. He left, in 3 weeks, a new person came on. With her, we went up to 35%. And to all of you smart people here, smart guys and girls saying, well, I have 70% close rate. We don't sell 2K per month coaching on a 2-year contract. We'll sell 15K up front. But I still believe we can go up to 40, 50%, and we will. Yeah, but not diluting the team energy. Smaller team, you can give them a better and closer feedback. And number three is higher accountability. You cannot hide. Yeah? If it's 2 or 3 people, we have a sheet that changes every time, like a lead board, and you cannot hide for a lack of results. So that's that. A bit more on not the script, but like some rituals I have. Guys, rituals is everything. In sales, it's everything. Sleep is actually the most, it's stupid, but sleep is the most important thing in a sales team. It's ridiculous, but sleep and good healthy habits is everything. I'll talk about that in a second, but the way the culture and routines work is we have a daily stand-up every day. Once I had a candidate for a closer position, and he was surprised that we meet every day. He was like, "Man, will you meet every day?" I say, "Yeah." He says, "I thought it was once a week." I'm like, "Once a week? We're online. You don't see me. How are we supposed to effectively communicate with once a week?" It's a daily meeting. It's only 30 minutes long. It's punchy, and here's what we do. We get on a call. We break ice. It's all friendly and all of that. The first 3 to 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Then we go on to projections. It's also something I learned from Cole Gordon. Basically, I don't know if any of you do it. It's not tracking, yeah? It's projections. And it's basically setting projections is a habit where you basically, you commit people to assessing their own performance over time and committing to certain standards. Not the ones that you put on them, but the ones that they put on themselves. So let's say the first month they come on, and if they pass, you say, okay, cool, this is kind of like, this is your performance. You understand your numbers, you understand your close rates. Based off of that, I want you to give me a number that's higher than this one, but you're also comfortable with it, but it also stretches you out. Usually it's like 30% on top of their baseline numbers. And then every day they report on the daily projections they make and how yesterday's performance affected their weekly numbers and monthly numbers. They're on top of it. I am not supposed to control you. You control yourself. I only interfere if you're not hitting your numbers. If you're hitting your numbers, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, go get yourself a new watch, a new car, or whatever. I will not tell you anything. But if you're not hitting your numbers, you call it upon yourself. So be on top of your projections, be on top of your numbers, and if you want feedback, I'll give it to you. And I love to give feedback. There's one rule in the sales team, and it's this. There's no shame in not hitting your goals. There's only shame in not being freaking pissed off about it, and not being introspective about it, and not trying to figure out what's causing the lack of performance. That's shame. Yeah, and it never happens on our team. So, and then of course we do client wins. Super important. I have to admit, I was disregarding it for a long time, but closers, they're humans, guys. Some of you are closers. Most of you probably are in one capacity or another as a business owner. You need to see that what you're selling freaking works. Yeah, nobody, I don't know like what kind of sick wolf of Wall Street bastard you have to be to call people, like most people need to believe in what they sell. So client wins is essential. Daily, if you can't do it daily, at least a couple of times a week. Now, weekly one-on-ones. How many people here actually manage or lead sales teams? Do you do weekly one-on-ones with your people? Nice, awesome, love to see it. Very simple, straightforward. My meeting is this. I highly recommend one book I didn't include. It's probably the best book I've ever read on sales management. It's from Mike Weinberg, and it's called Sales Management Simplified. It's the best book I've ever read. It's very tactical, straight to the freaking point. He cusses, he gives a lot of tactical and very good advice. And he basically says, the way he does his meetings is very simple. You meet with a closer, they're hitting their goals, nice. You want something from me? Maybe I give you some sales calls advice, I'll give it to you, but that's it. I'm not gonna pester them on about anything. If they're not hitting their goals, I'm expecting them to show up and give me reasons for why they're not hitting their goals. Yeah, and if they're not giving me reasons, then I have to go and dig. And closers don't like their managers to dig in their stuff like it's kindergarten. So most people, at least winners who will stay on your team, will get used to coming prepared and asking for advice. Yeah. So again, going through projections, I used to do it more, but because I'm a bit more packed, I don't do it as much. But every week I would actually also look at the commissions they earned and then grill them on their goals and say, cool, man, you made like 1,200 last week? Like, the hell? What are you gonna do with 1,200? You know? I wanted to take my girlfriend to Mexico. You're not taking her on $1,200 per week, man. You know, so also connecting their performance to their goals too. And number 3, most important actually, it's stupid of me to add it as the last point. This is the most important point. Temp check, physicality, motivation, energy. Super important. Super, super important. They need to want it. They need to have the reasons. They need to be committed. Yeah? They need to be in bed on time. Ed Milet, I was watching his video once. He's this motivational speaker. He said, sales is competitive. Sales is a sports. And I 100% agree. Can you imagine a footballer or any sort of athlete who goes, eats KFC and goes to bed late and operates at a high level? No. Same thing with sales. And if they're not willing to commit, then they're gonna suck. Actually, one of the reasons why the other guy left was that. His sleep was all over the place, but it's because he wasn't used to working indoors so much. So really check, you don't have to make them do it. Yeah, they need to want it themselves. You have to only explain to people why it's important, and then maybe give examples of people who are winners and who are doing these things. Sales process, script. Yeah, script is very simple. You frame the call, you ask them questions about what, why, and then when you drop the price, you use the things they said to keep them accountable to their higher self that they promised to you. No hard closing, whatever, power pressuring. You drop the price, I'll think about it. Okay, cool, price aside, are you good on the process? Yeah, I just need to think about it. Is it the price? No, I need to think about it. Well, what is it that you need to think about? I'm not sure, maybe I'll do it. Mike, we just talked about it, and based on what you just said, it's the most powerful words you can use in a presentation. Based on what you told me, or you know how you told me. Mike, you know how you told me you don't have time? Has that changed in 45 minutes? No. Well, how are you going to do it? You do it respectfully. You call people out, always, but you do it respectfully. Because a client, and with empathy, a client who's threatened, he's not going to buy. Why would you buy from someone who makes you feel shit? You know? So, or external pressure. You need to buy, blah, 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 like you're a loser. That's external pressure. Internal pressure, keeping them accountable to their higher self. Hey, you just told me you want to make 1 million in the next 12 months, and you don't have time to do this on your own. That's why you're with us. Da 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 da. Is that something still you want to do? Yes. Okay. Let's do it. So, yeah, current offer close rate is 35%. I know it can be improved. We're working on it. Follow-up is key. Actually, dude, can you please open the next video? It's interesting. One of my closers and I were thinking of like a good way to do follow-ups. And we realized we're building something for our clients. And we came up with this one interesting concept of follow-ups where, imagine, you didn't buy from us. Here's what's going to happen. Every freaking month, we're going to send you an app for someone else we built who actually bought on a call with us. And we'll literally start the email. Hey, we don't say this like you know, straight up like this, but it's pretty much, hey, you remember you didn't buy from us? This guy did. Look at his app. That's basically the script. You know, how's your app doing? Oh yeah, if you can play. So very handsome.
What I want to go ahead
man.
and do is walk you through an app that just launched yesterday. And this is by Natalie and Christina. And I spoke with them just right around when both you and I spoke. So I'm gonna walk you through what I think is pretty impressive about this app, right? So basically, Rocky Red Homestead. The moment I open it, I mean, this is a beautiful welcome screen.
He's like Myron. He's Myron, like genuinely, yeah.
Really happy, holistic, like all natural ingredients.
If you can just scroll a little bit, it's like 3 minutes. You know,
Okay,
just
cool.
to the
So check
middle.
out with real people.
Yeah.
You can tell these are not stock images.
Yeah,
right?
it's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I am forever grateful. That's awesome. And then you've got another hero image. So branding is really on point. Okay, so now it's like, okay, now let's talk about the features and why this is important, right? Water intake, books, podcast, checklist, swap guide, recipes. I love it. Get started today.
This guy's from San Diego,
All
so.
right, okay, instant access. Okay, I guess I'll opt in. So let's check out. Okay, do you have push notifications? Get real-time visual updates? Yeah, count me in.
Yeah, it's almost done. So.
Okay.
Anyway, so you can start it. You can stop.
Learn.
So what's
What have we
the call
learned?
to action in the end?
Call to action is get back to me in the email.
Shall I
What-
play?
Huh?
Shall I just play it?
No, it's okay. It's the call to action is the call to action is to okay, let me think, let me know what you think. And in the email, the reason why we don't make a call to action in the video is because we pretty much mass send it to like 100 clients. We don't pronounce their names, and we also send different call to actions. If someone basically wanted to, depending on if we introduced pricing plans or not too. If we think someone can do pay in full, we're saying, hey, just what do you think? If it's someone we haven't introduced, if it's someone we introduced payment plans to, we just say, what do you think, da da da. If it's someone who we haven't introduced payment plans to, what we put is like a little punchline. We say, by the way, also for you, just FYI, we also have options to get in for less money down, payment plans. So with the awesome case study we sent you, and with this offer, does it make sense to get back on a call? I swear to God, it's this simple. So. Yeah, that's it. I like to blow my own horn and show you how cool I am. I worked with Jay Abraham. Look at the case study from the real OG of marketing. He was my mentor, and we strategized this Facebook ads and that's it, guys. Thank you. So yes, Johannes, and yeah, go ahead.
You said at the beginning, like never share the price. When you have leads saying something like, "Hey, I'm interested, but I want to have a rough number before we even hop on a call. I don't want to have any setting call. I don't want to have any closing call."
Everything we do is customized based on your needs.
No. And then they say,
We don't know what
"Okay, but
features
I
you want."
still want a rough number. Then you just say, "Okay, then."
Setter says, all I know is 5 figures. I cannot share the price.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he has to like literally go until the very bitter end.
Okay, but you would say 4 figures, 5 figures. You wouldn't say that.
It's on the forum.
Yeah.
Yeah, low 5 figures. Yeah, well, is that 10K? It can be. It's a range. Yeah, based on what you need.
Yeah, of course. Okay. But that also applies
sorry.
to, let's say, people who didn't have this opt-in form. They, for example, they just came from like an ad or content or some whatever, and they just text you on whatever channel, and they say like, "Hey, interesting. I want the price. I don't want da-da-da-da." You would say still say like, "Okay."
If you don't want da-da-da-da, then okay, fine. I mean, you'll be on your way.
Okay,
If you
so
want to
just
learn
let
the...
them-
Yeah,
let them
no,
go.
never. Low 5 figures. But what are the price? I can't give you the price. I don't know what you want.
Okay.
Yeah?
But 4 figures or 5 figures, you would say, even though they would just
Low 5 figures, we'll always say. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the truth is, we do all actually have different pricing options. We do have a 10K offer, 15K offer. Soon will be like a 20K offer. We don't know. So,
Mhm.
does that answer your question? I think you raise your hand.
Yeah, this video is fucking hilarious. Doing a once every month outreach. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think this is a really idea I haven't really heard before.
Nice.
But I'm curious about it. How have you had it backfire? How long do you go? When do you stop? If I can call it retargeting, or
I mean, what can be the backfire? We're literally sending value videos where we're showing the apps we built, and closers have an instruction. You either you send it until they want to get back on a call, or they say, I don't want to build an app anymore, stop sending me. Like, we're not pestering them. You know what's annoying? Getting messages, are you dead? That's what I get from setters on the internet all the time. Are you dead? No, I'm not. I posted a picture yesterday. That's annoying, right? But we're just sharing value, so.
They have the rate at which, how long does it take for someone to come back? Any statistics?
Some people come back 5 months later. We haven't done a study on this, but we haven't had a single person who backfired. Like, well, you know, what are you sending me? We're just sending videos, man. We literally have people though, where we send them 7 videos. They keep checking, but not getting back to us. We have that, and we keep sending. We're believers.
So if you're looking at a business and there's so many different ways and so many different acquisition channels, how do you figure out which one is the one that you want to focus on right now because it might have the highest leverage?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think a lot of businesses, at least you know, the ones that are actively running, they usually have at least 1 or 2 low-hanging fruits. So I work on capitalizing the low-hanging fruits and then kind of like spread out to other channels that I know work based on experience or based on what competitors do. And that same goes for people or for businesses. Some of you haven't started businesses, like your businesses. Just literally, the first thing you need to start with is copy what your competition does. Yeah. If it's growing Instagram channel, work on that. If it's LinkedIn, work on that. Some channels take longer to build, but they also kind of like can have higher returns, like a good IG channel. So you combine that with something that's more difficult to scale, like a LinkedIn cold email messaging, but something that brings cash flow now, right? So you kind of like combine both. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So in your presentation, you mentioned that for Passion Ultimate Plus, what you're doing is you're working with simple apps, and there's a number of people that you're speaking to who want more complicated and more complex apps, and what Passion can currently do. What do you do with those leads?
That's a great question. Nothing. Perhaps we need to partner up with someone.
I invest in a company that would be very interested in those leads.
Done. All right. We discuss over some vodka later. Max?
You mentioned you ask people what's up, and if they're stuck, you sell them. And if not, you send them a free bonus.
Yeah.
Did this refer to former clients or to outbound? Was this outbound?
Yeah, it's a good like when we use it. Yeah, we use it mostly for the baller. We mostly use it for outbound. Mostly use it for outbound. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyone else? Guys, we need to be time conscious. I'll take 2 more questions. And so, yeah.
Passion.io, there's their target client is in the private sector. Do the strategies you have also work if your target customers in the public sector, but a SaaS company? Sure,
totally. Yeah, I mean, as long as you want to educate, we have people who use their apps internally with their clients. Sorry, not clients, employees. For example, what Johanna said about Kajabi, right? Like, one thing I know is I hate Kajabi because it's really not mobile functional, but I love to watch and Marshall listen videos. Like, I lock my screen, Kajabi freaking stops. But if you have a mobile app, and if you want your employees to really consume content, if you build a mobile app, it'll be easier for them to consume the content. It's a bit of investment, but think about it. Even if it improves the content intake by 15%, it's insane ROI. Yeah, and the thing costs $15K.